All right, I finally, during the break, I realized the ultimate simp song. And I had one of my favorite songs I'd ever played on the radio. Probably played it the first month I was on the air. And I never could understand the lyrics because Michael McDonald is singing. But then I looked it up finally after all these years. I said, what the hell does this song mean? And it's a total simp song. It's a guy who has been chasing after a woman and she's not into him. And all his friends are watching saying, why are you doing this?
Oh.
He came from somewhere back in or somebody. Well, let's listen to it.
It's bouncy, though.
You'll have to edit this out,
It's a
too.
bouncy,
too. You know the song. He came from somewhere back in the long ago. Sentimental fool from sea, trying hard to recreate what had yet to be created. So he's trying to create a romance, and it was not. And then she'd muster a smile. Anyway, you get it. And what a fool believes is they just let him go on and on about this woman. Another thing, Matt, we were talking about Bill Gates. Did you read? There's a play called Same Time Next Year, and then it was made into a movie with Alan Alda.
Alan Alda and Ellen Burstyn.
Did you hear the agreement that Gates had when he got married to his current wife he's divorcing?
1 week away with his ex.
He could have 1 week with his ex every year.
To do what? Anything?
What a deal, man.
Did you ever see the movie?
Money can do that.
Why is there a bed suddenly playing for no reason? That's weird.
Do you remember the movie Same Time Next Year?
Yeah.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
That was a play,
Alan Alda.
and then it was a movie with Alan Alda.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
You're an asshole.
That bed was the
But which girlfriend, we should do that. Which girlfriend would you choose?
Well, they have to be willing, right?
Yeah. No, you're going to, it's a week of sexual assault.
No, I don't.
Oh, sweet.
Well, who's going to agree?
Now Bob's interested.
Who's going to agree?
Will this get us in trouble with our wives? I'm writing this down tomorrow. The Bill Gates.
The Bill Gates arrangement.
I'm just going to make sure our wives aren't listening.
I don't think any of my exes will want to be with me.
Call in and chat with us about the Bill Gates arrangement.
All right. Listen, I was talking about this. I was very excited about this. Of course, they left us out. I think a documentary about our survival would be nice, but I guess I need to get cancer first before.
Wow, you're simping to these filmmakers, man.
Boudreaux and John, is it John Robert Jew? Is that how you say your name? Okay, cool. I just thought Chewy had written down John Robert and then wanted to let me know that you might be Jewish. I don't know. But if you didn't know, so most people that listen to us didn't live here in the 90s. So you had 6th Street, Dirty Six, which wasn't as dangerous. It was mostly live music clubs, but it wasn't heavy metal. I guess the closest thing to that would be occasionally Joe's Generic. And it was more blues. And you had, what was his name?
Danny?
No, Deedle-dee.
Eric Johnson playing down there a lot.
And the Guitar Heroes and that sort of thing. So, but we did a lot of promotions with the Back Room, which was mostly metal, right? Now, they did have Crowded House one night. I know because I waited around till mid. And Ramsey would wait till freaking 1 a.m. to put a band on if he was milking drinks. And you guys have done a documentary, which is called Bloody and Bruised. Why the Back Room?
Well, I was working on a documentary I was helping out my buddy that was doing the documentary about the Saxon pub that came out not too long ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And while I was helping him out on that, I kind of thought, I'd really like to do a documentary about the Back Room, all the shows that were there, the cheap drinks, and all the kind of the crazy shenanigans. But I kind of wanted to tell the history about this place that kind of propagated all these up-and-coming bands and also propagate the success of bands like Dangerous Toys and Pariah, and include all the crazy shenanigans that kind of were a part of it too. So, I really loved that place. I lived down the street from it, and so I was talking to John here, and we had lunch. And we put together a little kind of a wish list of people that we wanted to get involved, and that was about 2 years ago.
How are you able to get footage of the Back Room? Did you get in touch with Dave?
Oh yeah, Dave's one of our lifeline on this.
There's a guy.
Yeah.
And I remember Dave. I think of Dave as a friend, and it was Dave TV, right?
Yeah. Well, it was called Capsize at the time.
He interviewed Bill Hicks like 3 weeks before Bill died, and that's on Capsize. And you might come home and you go, who's this guy? Well, what's he trying to be here? He's on cable access and he's doing local music stuff, but it's not, nobody's going to cable access to watch it. What it ended up being was Dave captured the city in the 1990s. He literally saved everything. He sent me a video. Do you remember the night I got mad at, I made fun of Jimmy Pineapple?
Yeah.
I didn't bring it into you guys. I can't do it. He sent me the videotape of the Bill Hicks tribute the year after Bill died, when I went up and talked seriously and then got mocked. I mean, Dave saved everything.
Dave has everything.
Dave has supplied us with like over 150 hours of band footage.
Dang.
And that's just backroom bands alone, So, I mean, his archive, we shot with him. We shot his interview at his place, and he just has stacks and boxes of
already tapes. There's a contradiction, though, already in the trailer that we watched. You say we knew it was a safe place to go, and yet you talk about getting your ass kicked in the back room.
Which is it?
I never felt safe in the back room. Never.
I don't know what was worse, the parking lot or the club. Which was worse?
Because it was so much power drinking, and they would wait. They would milk the headliner till midnight, and so you had super drunk, including myself. So
10 cent shots,
and safe to the fact where you would get there and you knew that you had an entourage behind you because your friends were all there. So if something went down, you had your people there. So
did Pantera play the back room?
Pantera played twice. Yeah, they actually played a secret show called the Cowboys from Hell
You
show.
would have that a lot in Austin. You'd have bands that played the Irwin Center, and they would go over to either watch music or play somewhere else. Yeah,
and Pearl Jam did the same thing. It was a South by that they played an actual South by show, and then played at the back room to like, what was it, 30 people?
So who all did you interview?
Oh man,
You should have got Johnny Walker.
Well, we're still shooting. That's the thing is that
Johnny Walker.
We're still shooting this thing.
You got to find Johnny.
We still got a bunch of interviews, but we shot with Jason McMaster from Dangerous Toys, John Moyer from Disturbed, Kevin Fowler, who was in Dangerous Toys.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
because Kevin Fowler has a successful country career.
Yeah.
Oh man, he was all about it. He loved being in this. He loved talking about this. In his heyday. So I mean, it was a great kind of opportunity, and we're still shooting. We're still doing a bunch of interviews, and then come this summer, we're actually shooting reenactments.
Well, Bob and I have our story about Pauly Shore.
The
Pauly Shore story.
It was 1 o'clock in the morning. We're there. We're going to introduce Pauly Shore.
They asked us.
The Weezer, whatever he said.
They really want you, man. The management called. They really want you to come down and introduce
we're backstage,
Pauly.
And Pauly Shore's manager goes, who are you guys? And we're like, we're here to introduce Pauly. And he literally said to us, we've been waiting for hours. Pauly Shore needs no introduction.
Oh my God!
Oh wow!
I was so pissed off.
Step away.
And then crowded.
Go get shipped in the parking lot.
I was a huge fan of Split Ends in college. That was the original band. The crowd, and we're waiting again after midnight. Got to be up. Got to be up at 5. And I go out there and go, hey, everybody, I love this band. I love the Split Ends in college. And one of the Finn brothers goes, get off the effing stage!
Some of my favorite memories are the bands and the shows that also just always stood out as being weird to be booked at the back room. I'm sure you guys have probably. I mean, I remember in college going to see Widespread Panic, which is a jam band at the back room. And then one of the best shows I ever saw at the back room, hands down, was Public Enemy. It was an absolutely insane night. And I ended up accidentally against the stage. I got there very late, and then some idiot was starting a fight and running through the crowd. And as people were getting out of the way or whatever, suddenly I just ended up against the front row from the back, and I was just like, all right, I'm just going to stay here and not leave. And it was an insane show.
One of the big shows that happened in the mid-'90s was Two Life Crew.
Oh, sure.
And they were trying to let's see what it's like if we bring in this Two Life Crew group in. And sure enough, somebody, shot a gun.
Oh, you almost said it.
But he did really well. It was very check swing. Yeah, shot a gun. I don't even remember that.
Yeah, and then they rushed for the registers and everything like that.
Here's the thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. You had the pool cue
to the left.
To the left.
To the left.
That club could not have been fire safe. Like if that Great White
that
thing
ceiling
happened,
was so low
because you went around to the auditorium, and there was only one little entrance to get into that room.
Yeah.
So if the Great White thing had happened, you would have been jammed up at that door trying to get out.
Any musicians destroy instruments or destroy their bodies with that load-bearing pole that was right in the middle of the stage? I can imagine you swinging your bass around, you got your jam going, and you snap the neck.
One of them, it was a brand new bass that they had.
Was it?
They came up with a brand new bass, and he's like, I kept trying to remind myself that pole's right in the center, and then he said one of the times the guitar player comes up and does a guitar solo, and he's doing the bass. He turns around and he smacked the headstock right
funny.
on.
You had a successful club that had some of the biggest acts, and you had obstructed view. Not an obstructed view from
the artists
top,
were obstructed.
An obstructed view in the stage.
Every single interview that we do, at one point we ask, so tell me about the pole. And it doesn't matter who it is. They're like, oh, the pole of death.
I think that's one of the fun things, though, about a kind of old school Austin. And then I'm hoping you're capturing in this thing is that when you think about things like Raoul's or Backroom, now everything is kind of purpose-built. We're getting these clubs, and there's enough money in the city, and you can charge for a decent ticket price where you can actually build a club with things like sound and sight lines in mind.
The world headquarters had no air conditioning. And you go to shows, and it was a metal building.
No, you know what used to be the only thing that created a music venue in this town was, is the venue cheap? Is this a place that I can rent for nothing? Because I can't make any money in the music business unless it's dirt cheap. And that's how especially that area, talking the 80s and 90s, that area of Riverside,
I was
where
you
were living.
Military,
I missed it in the preamble, but when you grew up a biased white kid from Tyler, Texas, like I did, it was scary for me to go over there, right? Because East Side had a different.
Well, Riverside had a mixed vibe.
Riverside still has a mixed vibe.
Bob is half Hispanic, half Italian, but he's not. He's white. Bob is white, right? So I remember we're driving over one time, and we're over near, I think it's 5th.
No, we were in the Springdale area.
Whatever, 5th and Chacon or something. And Bob goes, this is before your doors locked. He goes, hey, man, you want to lock your doors over here? And I went, well, why? He goes, I can't vouch for you over here. And I went, you can't vouch for me anyway.
Let me do the talking.
But I would go, oh, my God, heavy metal, bad part of town. I would be a nervous wreck when I went to the back room. I'll be honest. I wouldn't now if I could go back and do it again.
Well, that's the point, is that we were kind of trying to bring back that vibe of like, hey, it was kind of a dangerous place, and random fights would break out on a Tuesday night kind of thing, and there was blood on the concrete, and people smacked the hell out of themselves in the mosh pit with that pole. The poles over in the crowd. But it was a great venue that kind have build a huge part of Austin's music scene.
Well, and community. Community is important.
That was neglected. You don't you don't have the Chronicle do flashbacks about the dangerous toys.
And those
bands were huge in this town. And I'm leaving one out. These guys are great. Had a good-looking lead singer.
Pariah?
I don't know. I just remember I'm at New York Life one day buying some insurance or something, and he walks up in a suit and goes, Dale, hey, man, how are you? It was in a heavy metal band. I can't remember. It's really it's not going to come to me right now.
Well, the other reasoning behind this was, I wanted a part of me, and this is kind of old man kind of thing, but I kept seeing all these kids that were going to emos and posting shows at emos, and I was like, I wanted to grab them and say, like, you realize the holy ground that you're on right now, and how many bands came through this venue before it was Emos East?
I'm sorry, you were saying emos, and I was like, what do you mean? I forgot. I still haven't been to the new emos. Yeah, and so it's funny to me because I was like, what do you mean? Oh, okay, that's right. It's over there now.
And the pole's still there.
Still there? Is it really?
The pole is still there.
The one thing that lasted.
It's back.
Is it a bar now?
No, it's emos. Remember emos from downtown moved over.
So
it's different owners and stuff.
It's in the back room.
Was there any backstage or green room? I don't remember ever going to like a green room or a back.
At the back room there was. It was in the back, and it was a separate building, and it was kind of like a little shopping strip. It was like an old concrete building, and it was pretty.
Yeah, it was near the bus
both
loader.
of you guys grow up here in Austin?
We were from Brownsville.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
You don't know. When did you get here?
I got here in 98.
99.
Okay, a little later than. But
I'm not a Texan, but I got here as soon as I could.
When did Backroom finally shutter?
In 2006.
Holy cow.
And I don't even remember Ramsey's first name. Was it Dave Ramsey?
Jim
Ramsey. And Ramsey died
2010.
Wasn't he in his 40s?
He was like early 50s. Yeah, he
Was
died
he?
of liver failure, I think it was. So
I'm sorry.
What was the name of
Ramsey was super nice to me. He was always, I'd go straight for Ramsey to feel safe.
Yeah.
But he was always...
the amount of fun bar owners that provided great times in this town who have died from some type of liver disease is up there. Up there. Sometimes we become victims of the fun that we created or whatever.
So you said you're still shooting, so no one can see it yet. But what do you plan on doing with it?
well, I mean, we hope to get it wrapped. The idea is to get it wrapped by September of next year.
Then
Completely final
maybe
cut.
do South by Southwest.
Yeah, to get into the 2023 festival circuit and all that stuff. We're definitely going to do like a theatrical screenings here in Austin.
Doing a narrator and all that?
Yeah, we got a narrator. We got some stuff lined up. So the big part is the reenactments that we got coming up in the summer.
No, wait a minute. Reenactments of what?
Of like bigger
The
stories.
bigger stories that have been
bigger
told.
stories. So
There's
like
some clips of them on the trailer as well.
Like the Two Life Crew Riot that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like we're going to reenact the entire Two Life Crew Riot. Like we're actually shooting that.
That's crazy.
The Dangerous Toys signing, all these other punk bands and local bands, and just kind of like give everybody a sense. I mean, obviously the hard part about doing this is that this club has been closed for 15 plus years. So all we have is archival footage and photos. So we're trying to recreate as much of the experience.
Did you see the Bill Hicks documentary where they did
I've seen parts
the
of it.
stylized animation? That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's the same one for the... it did one also for the shootings, the UT shootings. Remember that?
Oh, Tower.
The Tower.
Yeah, the animated one.
Yeah. Mockingbird Studios.
Have you watched the Harry Nilsson documentary?
I have not. I heard about it.
Even if you don't like his music or never heard of it, who's Harry Nilsson and why is everybody talking about it?
Made you cry?
It's excellent. Dude, it's excellent. Listen, I love documentaries. The Go-Go's, I'm friends with Kathy Valentine. That one was really good. Kathy stayed up for a week doing cocaine to learn the songs, so it had a positive effect. And then what was it? So how much time do I have?
Oh, we've got plenty
got a break? Okay.
We've got plenty of the back room was known also as kind of a little bit of a sketchy area for drugs as well. So there's plenty of little drug stories.
I did the handoff at Anton's all the time. All right, well, listen, guys, thank you.
I can't wait to see it.
Boudreaux and John, we appreciate it. And come back when it's ready to roll.
Yeah, man. Thanks
If you
for
need our
having us.
help
having us. I appreciate
casting
it.
extras or anything
And
like
is
that, let us know.
the trailer's up right now.
The trailer's up online.
Yeah.
Check out our Facebook.
Bloody and Bruised, the story of the back room.
Yeah, especially, we keep trying to do this, but if you're a newer person of the city and who kind of isn't, it's a fun little look back at a thing that was it was a crisp 2 decades in time, but it definitely is a time capsule about older parts of the city.
Thank you, guys. Bob, it's all yours. We're F1 tickets again tomorrow morning and also on Coyote at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.